Well, hello, welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm Tina with Hanging with Frugal Tina. I hope you like what you see and I hope you stick around. Everybody else, welcome back. So today we're going to do an extreme budget. I don't like calling it challenges because this is some people's life. They only have this amount of food, this amount of money to feed themselves with. So it's not a challenge to them, it's a way of life. Or it could be a moment in your life, a season in your life where you really don't have it. And these are things that you can reach out and grab and just get through it. You might only got $10 to get through the day. Maybe you have $5 to get through the day. Whatever your budget is, I'm here to try and help. But there are other places you can go. You can go to your churches, food banks, call 211. They can give you some resources because here in the US of A, you should not go hungry. That being said, we're gonna move on. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do a budget of feeding my family. Now, I don't exactly know what the budget is because I may or may not use one of my ingredients, which is a little bit of milk. So I'm gonna do an extreme type thing. So if I don't use the milk, it's gonna be under $6 for the entire day to feed my whole family. If I do use the milk, it'll be under $7. So the numbers will be up when you see the thumbnail. So without further ado, let's get it, let's go. Let's see what I got over there and heat up those pots. Come on. All right, here goes my haul. Not very much. That doesn't look like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, does it? Well, it's gonna be. I got 2 ears of corn. I got a bag of banana nut, just add milk for breakfast. I got 2 potatoes. Now, to be honest, I weighed the potatoes at the store to see how much it was going to cost me because I have a bunch of potatoes here, and then I came home and I weighed the potatoes at home. That's why I have 2. It's a little tiny bit smaller than the one I had at the store, but it's fine because everything else would have been over. So I'd rather be under than be over. So we got a box of Jiffy buttermilk biscuit mix. I got 98-cent loaf of bread in the back, a can of mixed vegetables. For this meal plan, you could do whatever vegetable floats your boat. You could use peas and carrots, just peas. I went with mixed vegetables so we get a variety. A banana and that milk. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use that milk. If I don't, then the price will be one thing, and if I do, the price will be another. I almost think I can get away with this entire meal plan without it, other than them drinking it as a beverage. Well, there you have it. The first thing I'm gonna do is get started with breakfast. But before I do that, I'm gonna show you what I allow myself, what I know I'm allowing myself as pantry staples. I can do this meal plan without it. I choose not to. So I'm gonna allow myself a fat and whatever's in my spice cabinet. And I'm gonna allow myself a little bit of brown sugar for this one, even though I don't know if it's a pantry staple for everybody, only because I wanna show you how to make something. You can eat it without it, but I just wanna show you how to do it. All right, here are the additional ingredients I think I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use some chicken bouillon. That's always in my house. As you see, I got that giant thing there. Some onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and that little tiny bit of a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I don't need it. I just want to show you something to make with breakfast. The only other thing that's not out is a fat. The fat might be cooking spray or what I call butter, country crock vegetable spread, but that would be about it. There's breakfast. I hope it's enough. It feels like it's gonna be enough, but if it's not, I'll tell you, I bought an extra bag of the banana nut muffin just in case it's not enough. So I'll add that in if I have to do that, but it should be fine. We're not breakfast eaters, so our bellies aren't ready in the morning, so just something small would be fine. My kids would be happy with a half a banana, so I could have bought a bunch of bananas and called it a day, but not everybody does that. So let's get to making the banana nut. We are not making muffins. We're making pancakes. First thing we're going to do is just throw out the instructions. We're going to make pancakes out of these muffins. I'm going to take the muffin mix, put it in the bowl, and I'm going to add water. The amount of water you're going to add is going to be dependent on how fluffy you want your pancakes. I like mine on the thinner side, so I'm going to add more water. You can also do this with milk. Once you get to your desired consistency, we're going to move it on over to the stove. So I'm going to take a very small amount of butter, air quotes, because we don't use real butter in this household, and I'm going to spread it around the pan. I don't want a super wet pan. I kind of want it a little bit on the dry side. To that, I'm going to add about 1/4 of a cup of the batter. Now, remember the banana that we had? Once we get the pancake in the pan and let it set for a minute, I'm going to put sliced bananas on top. This way they don't sink down into it. Because when we flip the pancake over, it's in that butter, it's going to caramelize and it's going to be really sweet. That's why I'm saying you may not need any syrup at all. Not may not, you don't. So I'm just going to knock the rest of these pancakes out and I'm going to teach you how to make a simple syrup. You really don't need it because they're super sweet. You know what a banana nut muffin tastes like, but I'm going to show you just in case you feel like you do need it. So here we go. The recipe is super, super simple. Now, I'm not saying this will substitute for syrup at all. I'm saying in a pinch, this will do. You need equal parts water and sugar. I'm using brown sugar this time. If you didn't have it, white sugar would do the trick in a pinch. So we're just going to whisk this together until we bring it to a simmer. Once it gets there, you could do one of two things. You can leave it as it is and let it cool, or you can reduce it down and let it thicken up just a little bit. I went the middle of the road. Not super thick, but not super thin either. Now I'm going to take it one more step. I don't have any maple syrupy type of extracts, but what I did have was a little bit of vanilla, and I just put a little bit in there, and it adds that extra something you might be looking for. Apparently, I didn't record that part, but now we're just going to let it cool down so we can serve it with the pancakes if you want to. All right, the pancakes are done. I dropped that one and it broke up, and I got a little bit too much of a hot pan on the other one. But regardless, these things are fabulous. And I neglected to say it made 14 pancakes. Here goes option 2 for breakfast. I had 2 options because Eric can't have dairy, and that was in those muffins. I also had enough that if anybody else wanted any, they could. As it turns out, just Eric wanted it, but if you had bigger eaters in your house, there was plenty to go around. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to take this loaf of bread and I'm just going to slice it up in my little slicer back there. You just stick the knife through, you decide how thick you want it, and that's that. Eric only wanted 3 slices. I decided I was going to toast it in the oven. I used a really big sheet pan because I'm going to need it later today, and why waste the foil twice? So I stuck it on the pan, put it in the oven, and got it to toast. Spread a little bit of that Country Crock vegetable spread on there, and then in the container, I make my own cinnamon sugar mix. It's just white sugar with some cinnamon, shake it up, put it on the toast. Seems simple enough, but my kids literally eat this up. All right, so let's get over and do the taste test for the pancakes and the cinnamon toast. All right, here we go. Yasmin and I, we got a little tiny one on our plate. We're just gonna give it a taste real quick. First try it. I broke some up on your plate a little bit. Try it just plain. Maybe get a piece of the banana in it. She hasn't tried it yet. I tried a little piece because it fell off. So I have an idea. Ready? Mm-hmm. Let's go. Oh. Mm-hmm. Like that? Mm-hmm. All right. Don't like pour this syrup on there. Maybe just like dip it, or use just like dip your fork in it, because it's very, very sweet. You're probably not going to need it. I just did it to show them how. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's fighting me. It's fighting me, y'all. It's fighting me too. Okay. Ready? Go.
Okay.
So
I would prefer it without the syrup.
yeah, me too. They're really sweet. They're like a banana muffin, so you don't really need it.
Yeah.
I just did that so if anybody felt like they needed it or they didn't have the extra banana or whatever, they can do that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Here's Eric's breakfast. Give it a go. It's one of his favorites. Doesn't matter what kind of bread it's on. Tastes good? There you go. So you could have either the pancakes or the toast or both. All right. See you at lunch. Bye-bye. Here's what you're going to need for lunch. 2 ears of corn, the potatoes, loaf of bread, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and some chives. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get the corn off of the cob. And this pan was not working with me. Typically, I do it in a different bundt pan and you're carving it down into the bundt pan, but I couldn't find mine and this was sliding like crazy. So I just put a plate in there and started the process. You just stick the cob down in the hole and then you run your knife down the side of the corn. Typically, it falls down into the pan, but because I was doing mine in the opposite direction, it kind of went around the counter. So I continued on until all of the corn was off the cob, but do not throw that cob out yet. We're not done. You will have a little bit extra. It's the part that sits down inside of the hole, so just take that off. Once we're finished with that, we're going to add that to our soup pot, sauce pot, whatever size pot you want to put it in. And now we're going to milk the cob. All you got to do is take your sharp or your dull edge of your knife or fork or spoon or something and run it down, and you'll see the liquid start coming out of the corn. That is a lot of sweetness from it. Now that we've finished that, we're going to move on to the potatoes. You need to cut them up kind of small. You don't want big chunks like you're making mashed potatoes, and not as small as the corn, but like little cubes like you get in a can of vegetables. I decided to go the easy route. I got the chopper out and started to decide which size I wanted. The medium size one was good for me. I cut some slices out of the potato, put it in that chopper, and whammo bammo, they are chopped. Once you're done chopping up your potatoes, give them another good rinse in the sink just to get some of that starchiness off of them. And then put that in the pot with the corn. Look how much is in that pot already. It's really starting to fill up. And now we're just going to add some water. I had some in a 4-cup measuring cup, but then that didn't seem to be enough. So I took the pot I had sitting off to the side and added that water in as well. Before we move this over to the stove, I'm going to add some pepper. And when I say add some pepper, I'm going to add a ton of it. And then we're going to add some salt. Potatoes can take a lot of salt. I didn't go too heavy-handed with it. I just kind of wanted some salt in there just so it's not flat tasting, and I will readjust later. And I also added a dash, a 2, a 3, a 20 of the chives. This might seem a little weird, but then I decided to throw the cob in there because there's still flavor in that stalk, and it was a whole big cob. I'll just pull it out later. All right, I tried to go the salt and pepper route. I'm sorry, this girl needs seasoning. I just can't eat bland food. I don't want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some onion powder, some garlic powder, some more of those chives. I'm also going to add some pepper, some thyme, parsley, and a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. And now I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not adding anything else. I did grant myself the power of the spice cabinet, but I was really trying to go minimal. I didn't succeed there. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to thicken this up. Now, if you have one of those mini mixers, the bullet or whatever, use that. I don't. I have a little tiny chopper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of scoops of the potatoes and the corn, whatever it is, and a little bit of the liquid, and I'm going to add it to my chopper. A couple of pushes, zip, 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 and here we go. We have it all creamy. I'm going to add that to the pot of soup. The starch from the potatoes and everything is going to help thicken this up. Or you can add some milk to make it creamier. I decided not to use the milk. You could also use a cornstarch slurry. While that's trying to become creamy, we're going to start working on the garlic bread. I'm going to take all of the bread that I had sliced up and put it on a sheet pan. This is how I do my garlic bread different than other people. I take a little bit of butter, country crock vegetable spread for those who don't know. I add a dollop of minced garlic. If you don't have it, it's fine. Use powder. And I also add some garlic powder. Give that a quick whip and onto the bread. It's almost done. Gotta go. I really don't like soggy garlic bread. This is why I toast it before I put the butter and garlic on it. So that's what I'm going to do now. And once I'm through spreading that butter on all of the slices, I'm going to top it with a little bit of parsley, just for the pretty. And there we go with a couple of shakes of the parsley. I'm going to do the same thing with the tray number 2. And they are done. And so was this one. I know it's all zoomed in, but it is what it is. Let's get back to that soup and see how creamy it is. Well, hello, soup. It's not as thick as I would want it. I was going more for a chowder kind of a thickness, but this soup does not disappoint. And that is lunch. And now we're off to the taste test. But not before I show you my plate, or bowl for that matter. All right, here we go. We're standing up for this one. Eric, we're just going to take a quick taste and then we'll dip our bread in it. Eric can have this because there's no milk in it. Make sure it's not too hot. We're good. You ready? Go. Mmm.
Mmm.
Oh, I like that.
That's really good.
You like that? Oh, I like the fresh corn. Just take a dip of your garlic bread and dip it in. Give it a nice dip and then a bite. Mmm. Even better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well,
That's amazing.
let me get everybody else their lunch and we'll see how they liked everything all at the end. There were 7 of us who ate lunch, and there's still 3 more helpings in there. So that's at least servings for 10. Well, hello. I'm just jumping right back on because I want to let you know something. That soup that I made for lunch was so incredibly filling that the kids did not want to eat dinner. And the ones that did wanted to finish off the soup. So I am going to finish this video. I just want to be honest in saying I'm finishing on a second day, not the same day, because we were just so full. And that's a good thing. So without further ado, let's go. Let's see if those pots come on. Okay, there's dinner. It doesn't look like anything, but trust me, it's gonna be something. Now you can make this recipe a little bit easier than mine. I cannot use cream of soups because of Eric's allergies, so I have to make my own. That's why the Knorr is out there. But you can get around that by having a can or 2 of cream of soup. Let's get started making the cream of chicken soup. We're going to start by adding 2 tablespoons of butter to the pan and melting it down until it gets to a bit of a sizzle. Just keep moving it around the pan. It will melt. There you go. Once your butter gets to this point, you're going to start adding the flour. Don't just dump it in there. Add a little bit at a time and keep mixing, because if you dump it all in, it's going to be lumpy. I tried to add it in about 1/3 at a time. It's not an exact science, but just keep trying. I'm going to double this recipe because I have a larger family. The only thing I'm actually doubling is the cream of soup. The rest of it will be the same. I took 2 cups of water and 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon, and made a broth. And we're going to add it to the roux. We're going to add it about a third at a time and just keep whisking, 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 whisking until it's nice and creamy. Well, we're all done with that part. Now let's add some flavor. So I'm just going to add my trinity. We're going to add some garlic powder, some onion powder, some pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, not a lot. And then just for grins, I think I'm going to throw some chives in there. I'm just going to whisk that all together and we're going to let it simmer so it'll thicken up. You just made dairy-free cream of chicken soup. Remember, it does thicken as it stands, so don't make it so thick on the stove that when you set it on the side, it gets like a brick. If you have milk and want to use it, you can add it in at this point, or some heavy whipping cream, or half and half. It'll make it creamier. I didn't allow mine to get super thick, like right out of the can, only because I knew I was about to thin it right back out. So I left it like that. You know, hindsight is always 20/20. I probably should have made this in the pot, so now I don't have an extra one to do, but we're here now, guys. At this point, you can add 1 cup of milk. I'm going to substitute the milk for water in mine. So here's your ratio. 3 cups of water to 1 cup of milk. But I'm doing 4 and 4 because I doubled the recipe. So we're just going to let that simmer a bit and we're going to start on our dumplings. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to dump out this box of Jiffy and you're going to add water. We're going to keep adding water until it gets to a consistency just a little bit stiffer than they would be if they were biscuits. The next part you don't have to do. I had a little time on my hands, so I just made them into little discs. You don't have to do that. You could drop it right in the pot. So it's back over to our soup we go. I'm just going to add in this can of mixed vegetables and let them heat up. The reason for adding the can of mixed vegetables to the mock chicken and dumpling soup is just to get some nutrition in there. There's basically nothing in this soup, and I wanted something in there. So we're going to get that soup back to a boil. And once we get there, we're going to take these little discs and we're just going to drop them in. And they should just sink right to the bottom or kind of float around in the bubbles. So once you got them all in the pot, just let them cook a little bit and these babies are gonna puff right up. I almost thought I was gonna have no soup. And once they puff up like that, we're done. So it's time to plate up. Or shall I say, bowl up. And there's my bowl. If you get any benefit at all from my content, you can help me out by clicking like, share, commenting, and definitely hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Sorry guys, my camera must have readjusted itself and cut the top of our heads off. All right, we're doing this one standing up. It is hot. Don't come at us for these plastic spoons today. Hold on, baby, get it, yeah. Ooh, those dumplings are big. All right. I was trying to get a small one. Almost dropped it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably should do this sitting down. All right, I got a piece of a dumpling. Let me blow it. It is hot, guys. I think I could do it. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I like that.
That's really good.
Eric's never had dumplings before.
That's amazing.
You like it? I told him it was going to be different because he's used to biscuits being biscuits and not doughy like that. So what do you think?
It's really good.
Really good? All right, let me get everybody else fed and see what they thought about this day of meals, I guess. All right, see you later, bye. All right, there are 6 bowls there. Plus I had a bowl, Eric had a bowl, and there's still soup left. Dinner's over, or shall I say, the day's over. What did they think? Boom. That's what's left of today's soup, or tonight's soup. Let's see what they thought about the full day of pancakes and the 2 soups. Mick, what did you think about all the meals?
It was fantastic.
Which was your favorite besides breakfast? Because we all know everybody likes breakfast. Which was your favorite soup?
This one.
The dumpling soup. Okay. Aiden, what'd you think about all the meals?
It was wonderful.
Which was your favorite besides breakfast? The dinner soup or the lunch soup?
Dinner soup.
Eric, same question.
The lunch soup.
The lunch soup? Yaya,
The lunch soup,
what'd you think about all the meals as a whole?
really good. I'll eat the pancakes every breakfast if I could.
Oh, there you go. Tyler, what'd you think about all the meals overall?
It was great.
And which soup was your favorite, the lunch soup or the dinner soup?
The dinner soup.
So you like the dumplings the best?
Yes.
All right, there you have it. I liked them all. It was a chore to try and come up with an idea, but you know, it was absolutely delicious. We were fed, we're full, nobody wants for anything. So there you have it. I hope you try it. I hope you like it. And if you are in an instance where you need help, like I said earlier, please reach out to 211, your local churches. There's all kind of your schools, lots of things. Lots of people know places to go to make sure you get food. Don't forget, like and subscribe. See you later. Bye.